Level B2, Lesson 6, Multimedia, Ai Weiwei. Now listen to the second part of the article. In part, Ai's reticence is a condition of his release. He says the government has warned him not to speak publicly about his ordeal. But, Ai says, I cannot bear the condition where something happens to me and I don't respond. Since getting out of attention, Ai has resumed his denunciations of the state on Twitter and on his frequently shuttered Weibo account, and the government has responded by slapping him with the charge of owing $2.4 million in back taxes for a company he doesn't even run. Ai and his supporters say that the charges are a strong-arm tactic to silence the artist. The police said clearly, the day before they gave the fine, Weiwei, they said, you should not have illusions. If the nation announces you have a tax problem, you have a tax problem, Ai recalls. If the artist fails to pay the money, he's received threats that his wife and associates will end up in jail, and they know I would never let that happen. So the game is, they know me. They follow you around until you have no energy and break down. It's very successful. It's 100 departments. You can't fight them, he says. You should commit suicide before you have to go through this. The tax bureau and the court and the police are the same person with different faces. You know this from the beginning. If you play a chess game and play 2 or 3 moves, they throw the board away. Ai's latest move has been to take his ordeal public. After learning of the taxes he allegedly owed, Ai used Google Plus to post instructions on how netizens could loan him money, adding that every cent will be returned. The response has been overwhelming. Within the first week, he received more than $1 million from tens of thousands of people. Supporters have flocked to his Beijing studio to offer help. A stranger folded a note worth 15 cents into a paper airplane and floated it into Ai's compound. 2 others drove by on a motorbike and tossed a ball of 100 yuan notes into the yard. One 26-year-old student, who wanted to remain anonymous for fear of retribution, said she traveled for 22 hours to see him. I'm terrified to be here, she said, but I wanted Ai Weiwei to know that when he was imprisoned we didn't forget about him. It's beautiful to know that people still have the desire to speak out, Ai says. This demonstrates how people support us. They have never had a channel to express themselves. Ai has found supporters in surprising places, even in detention. Some of the guards, he said, don't believe what they see either. They keep saying, I'm just doing my job. Even the first person interviewing me said, I have to do my job very strictly. But you can always answer, I don't know, I don't remember. I thought, wow, this is one of my guys here, Ai says. One interrogator apologized. Gosh, maybe you're well known, but I don't know you. Sorry, I'm a bit embarrassed. I had to go online to check you out. Even though Ai appears to be occasionally overwhelmed by the outpouring of support, on a recent weekend he ducked out of his studio saying, with so many people around, I can't stick around. He is a man who thrives on interconnectivity. After being released in June, one of the first things he did was try to reconnect to the grid, says Urs Mele, a Swiss gallery owner who represents Ai and has known the artist since 1997. Information exchange, it's so essential. Conversations, answering people's questions, makes me relax, Ai confirms. I spent a lot of time on the internet, reading people's commentary, people's discussion. 2 weekends ago in Ai's studio, the artist seemed to always be on his phone or on the computer. Assistants, friends, and other artists drifted in and out of the compound, which is also home to Ai's wife, Lu Qing, several cats, and an extremely overweight dog named Danny. Ai almost never listens to music, but it's never quiet. There are always people around, says Lu. Ai had on a faded old blue Gap coat and neon green sneakers. Ai doesn't care too much about what he's wearing, as long as it's big and cotton, says Lu. He focuses intently on his communiques. He estimates spending 6 hours a day on the computer. Without Twitter, it's just like I'm not a person, Ai says. I've already sent out more than 60,000 tweets. He points to a giant stack of paper on his desk in which his tweets are being edited into a book. That is only half of them. Ai has written more than 1 million words on Twitter. 2 days before he was detained in April, someone tweeted back, Ai, be a bit heartless and immigrate. Ai responded, I'm Chinese. This is my land.